Hey guys, sorry this video is a little bit late. I know the Monster Hunter event is over, but this video got delayed because of real life reasons, and I hope that you enjoy it anyway. So without further ado, let's talk about Kirin Yato. Remember the old days when you were a rookie and Yato was one of your first vanguards? Those were the good days and also a frustrating period because you only have Silver Ash, Angelina or XCI as your only 6-star. Now, times have changed and so does Yato. She becomes the fast redeploy operator she was meant to be, with some incredible game-breaking stats. What did it cost? My entire random supply, which I used up to get Kirin Yato on the 120th pull. Literally the very last pity. It's no doubt that Kirin Yato is a must-have, simply because not only she is one of the most powerful operators in existence, and there is a high chance that she will not have a rerun. In this video, let's take a closer look at Yato's insane kit and see what manner of destruction you can brought into your enemies. Also watch towards the end as well because I want to share some of my thoughts on the future of fast redeploys since the introduction of Texas Alter and Kirin Yato. Kirin Yato is a 6-star fast redeploy specialist with the ability to slice everything in front of her to subatomic scale, spins like a Beyblade, and does a fuck ton of damage. Just like Texas Alter, Kirin Yato raised the ceiling of the fast redeploy archetype as if they are in a class of their own, which I called it the Noob class. As the name implies, Kirin Yato has a shorter redeployment time than other operators. The short redeployment time will allow you to deploy Yato multiple times, but that also comes with a relatively high DP cost of 20 DP. Looking at the stats, Yato has a below average attack and defense, which is pretty common for fast redeploys. Some doctors might be concerned about Yato's lack of defense, but during my testing, Yato did not have any problems with enemies wiping her out, since her skill lasted only a brief moment. Except for skill 1, which lasts for 20 seconds. The lack of defense becomes a real problem when you're facing some really powerful enemies, but they're usually bosses and you don't really fight them that often. Similarly, I'm not too concerned about Yato's below average attack because she is being compensated by her talent. Speaking of talent, the first talent, Kirin Bolt, gives Yato an additional attack as arch damage, which allows her to take on high defense targets. The second talent, Archdemon Mode, grants Yato additional attack buff when her skill is active and 10 seconds after it ends. With these talents, Yato's skills are more powerful and still have enough juice to finish off her target if her skill did not kill them. The additional buff is great, but just like other fast redeploys, it's recommended that you don't leave them out for too long, because even with these talents equipped, Yato is not performing at her full potential. Before we move on to the skills, if you enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to give it a like. Thank you. Kirin Yato's first skill, Demon Mode, grants her attack speed. Additionally, Yato's attacks hit twice, and the third one is a 6-hit combo. You can say that this skill is kinda like Ixia's skill 3 in fast redeploy form. It has excellent DPS against low defense targets and easily clears a swarm of them. Well, to a degree. You may have noticed that this skill has no attack multiplier, and as a result, skill 1 struggles against high defense enemies. In my testing, the skill becomes ineffective when facing enemies with defense rank B, and thus the usage of this skill is rather limited. However, I don't consider it as a bad skill. Demon Mode is the only skill with a set duration, and there's enough window of time to apply some buffs, which could help elevate the DPS potential similar to Xia's skill 3. It's a bit more involved than a normal fast redeploy, and some players might not find the effort worth it for the duration that this skill offers. Looking into its mastery, it doesn't seem to offer that much. An increase in attack speed is good for her DPS, but the lack of attack modifier still limits its application. Skill 2, Blade Dance, increases Yato's first talent by 2.5 times, multiplies her attack by 150%, and attacks all enemies in the front tile for 16 times. This skill, however, also increases Yato's taunt level that makes her likely to be targeted. Thanks to the AoE effect, Skill 2 is really effective against grouped up crowds. Aside from that, While the skill is active, Yato is immune to disabling effects such as cold and stun, and it would only take effect after the skill ends. In my opinion, this isn't that much of a problem because you always retreat Yato anyway after his skill ends. One major weakness of this skill is of course the taunt level increase. If the stage has only melee enemies, this taunt increase doesn't really pose that much of a threat. However, it becomes a real problem if the stage has multiple range enemies or any enemies that has long range attacks that deals a lot of damage. Yato's defense is not the best and she can easily get 1 or 2 shot at mid-skill if deployed without care. At M3, skill 2 increases the effect of talent 1 by 2.5 times, allowing Yato to deal more arch damage and increases the attack modifier. The mastery investment helps elevate Yato's skill 2 to take on larger crowds and kill bosses much more efficiently. Skill 3, mid-air spinning blade dance, or if we're going by the Monster Hunter name designation, it's called the Heavenly Blade Dance, is a pretty interesting skill. Yato rushes forward 2 tiles, dealing a fuck ton of damage. Each hit extends her range up to 5 tiles. This skill can hit aerial units as well and can pass through other operators and objects like walls or roadblocks. Basically, this skill is asking what if Ifrit is a ground operator and deals physical damage. Each tile, Yato deals 300% of her attack. And that means if Yato extends her range up to 5 tiles, she would deal a whopping 16,000 total damage with maxed out stats. What the fuck? That said, rage tile bosses that takes up multiple tiles can also trigger Yato to extend her range, and the result is just stunning.
Nice.
Additionally, Yato is completely invulnerable when this skill is active, allowing her to be deployed in dangerous situations. Heavenly Blade Dance might be tricky to use at first as it's highly position based, but with enough usage, you can get the hang of it really quickly. You might notice that skill 2 and skill 3 are similar to some degree. Aside from its name, both skills have AoE capabilities that deal an insane amount of damage. The major difference is that skill 3's massive attack multiplier combined with the huge AoE makes it more versatile against all types of enemies. In short, skill 3 basically defines who Kirin Yato is. It's basically her signature move and probably the one skill that you're gonna use the most often. I don't have much to say about skill 3's mastery, the numbers speak for themselves and investing in it is a really good choice. Usually I have a clear idea which masteries I want to pursue, but in the case of Kirin Yato, similarly to Texas Altar, she's worth going for the M6. Even M9 if you have some materials to spare. The benefits you get from these masteries are just too good to be ignored. With that being said, I recommend that you prioritize skill 3 first because the improved attack multiplier at M3 will easily clear all types of boss fights the game has to offer. Kirin Yato's module makes her refunds 80% of the DP cost when retreating. This is a great investment, especially in stages where DP is a lot more restricted. On top of that, the module also boosts some of Yato's stats as well. Upgrading the module improves Yato's second talent, increasing her attack by 5% when her skill is active. If you're planning on using Kirin Yato for a lot of your runs, I highly recommend that you get this module as soon as you can. There is no doubt that with the release of Kirin Yato and Texas Altered raised the ceiling for 6-star fast redeploys. That led to some doctors to wonder if Arknights has a power creep problem because of these two. Fortunately, I don't see a case of power creep yet because each operator has a role to fill in, even the worst ones out there. Tsukinogi. Sometimes these roles are very useful, sometimes these roles are pretty much useless. I don't know the solutions to prevent power creeps because I'm not a game developer, but as long as Hypergriff maintains a balanced gameplay and does not force us to rely on big numbers to clear new contents, us doctors should not be too worried about power creep. I guess that's why CC events are integral to Arknights as it pushes the limits of operators and our sanity to find new ways to enjoy the game. But that's just my opinion and feel free to share your take on this topic in the comments below. So what manner of destruction Kirin Yato brings? All of it. Just anything. anything you want. In summary, Kirin Yato is a really fun operator to use. She is tailored towards dealing AoE, physical, and a little bit of arch damage against large crowds. Yato's skill 3 is no doubt the most powerful skill I've seen so far, and it's so satisfying to see an entire lane of enemies disappear in an instant, or an HP bar that drains faster than my wallet because of my terrible gacha luck with the Monster Hunter banner. If you combine Kirin Yato and Texas Alter, you get yourself a monkey brain team that negates all brain power during your run. All of your problems can be solved with just a little bit of nuke. And that is all for this video. What do you think of Kirin Yato, and did you go for pot 6? Because I sure hell not. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!